Yo, what is going on, everybody? I'm super excited to be here. I'm going to start doing these a lot more often because this is so much fun. Plus, I have a whole new setup now and all kinds of cool things going on. But what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about, is money really just a mindset? Let's get into it. All right, so here's the deal. A couple of things before we get started. First of all, if you're live with us on Facebook, if you're live with us on YouTube, if you're live with us in any of the Facebook groups or pages or anywhere that you're seeing this video, put your comments down below. Put your comments in. I can bring your comments up on screen. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, throughout today's event, ask it in the comments and I can actually bring it right up on screen. Check this out. So these are some of my old little banners that I had, but I can bring up stuff like this right on screen for any comments that you have. Number two, if you check out this right here, so you can see down below, I have this phone number. That's my personal phone number. Actually, it's my business line. So that's my business phone number. It's going to come directly to me. But here's the deal. Let me make this real quick. If you text in the word backstage, one word, right? Text in this word right here, backstage, to this number, 215-596-1515. I'll actually create a new banner here real quick. Let's do it this way. Text the word backstage to 215-596-1515. Here we go. So if you text in the word backstage to the number 215-596-1515, that's going to give you access to actually come in backstage with me, and I'll bring you on live to ask me any questions that you have. So I can actually bring you into this stream with me, which is super cool, super awesome, and you can come be a part of what it is we got going on here. But for now, let's, and you can also just text your questions directly to that number as well. I got my phone right here, so I'm good to go. I'm ready to go, and all kinds of stuff is happening. So let's jump into it. Is money really just a mindset? This is something that I've been thinking about recently. Recently, my own money mindset has been changing. It's been changing drastically. It's been changing quite a bit to understand better what money is and how money actually works. See, I'm writing a book right now. And in this book, I'm talking a lot about money, and especially the chapters that I just wrote and I just went through are all about money. And what I really realized is that when I was in the process of writing these chapters, I stepped into the shoes of the reader, and I made myself become the reader of this book. And I began to think, what does the reader really need? What do they need to know in order to learn money? And what I realized is they really need to first change their mindset before they can accept and adopt any questions, or I'm sorry, accept or adopt any strategies. Before they can accept or adopt any strategies, they need to ask themselves questions first. And these questions are going to challenge in some ways their belief systems, their philosophies, and the things that they think they know about money. And so that's what I did with this book, was I helped the reader create first a new money mindset, and then after I taught money strategies. So I wanted them to first develop this money mindset. And when I was doing that, I was curious, is money really just a mindset? And the funny thing is, look at our economic system. Okay, first of all, I want to do a little history lesson for those of you that don't know about money. If we go back to 1971, when Richard Nixon was in power, well, at that point, money was still backed by gold, right? So money actually had gold in it. And what happened was Nixon actually took money off of the gold standard. What does that really mean? It means a lot of things, and there's a lot of interpretations. I'm just going to put it plain and simple. It really means that money is worthless. It's nothing more than just a piece of paper now. It's all debt. Money is really fiat money or a Federal Reserve note. That's all that money really is. And a note is a debt, right? It's just a promise to repay it at some point, right? The government is issuing you the use and control over this money so that you can use it for whatever you want to use it for. You see, but it doesn't have any backing of any real value. And let's look at the example of, this as far out apocalypse as we can go. Right? Today, we're in crazy times. The world has been turned upside down with everything that's going on right now. I mean, it's just chaotic, it's crazy, it's all kinds of stuff happening. But let's take this to the extreme, right? Even further extreme than we already are. Let's take this even further. And let's just say that we are in a complete wasteland, an apocalypse, where the economy has fallen, the dollar is now completely worthless, which, by the way, the government can do just like that. We could just make a declaration tomorrow that says the dollar is now completely worthless. And there's nothing to back it. There's no more gold standard for the money to be on. It's literally just a piece of paper. And what would that mean? That would mean that silver and gold and these rare commodities would come back. Because what does money need to have value? It needs to have a rarity. Well, the problem that we're having today is that more money is being printed today than any other time in human history, which is a process known as quantitative easing. And because of that, every day, the value of the dollar is going down and down and down and down and getting worse and worse. It's becoming worth less and less each time that the government prints more money. So does money really only have the value that we associate to it in our mind? That's what I mean when I ask the question, is money really just a mindset? Because let's think about a $10 bill. A $10 bill costs what? I don't know, 30 cents to make? To manufacture a $10 bill costs a couple of cents. So how can something that costs a couple of cents to make be worth $10? This is the only item in the economic system that I know of that has such a difference in it, right? So this vast contrast where, it costs so little to make, but it's worth so much more to actually use. And so it's just an interesting discussion that I've kind of been having with myself for a while over, is money really just whatever we think it is? Is it really whatever we assign it value to? Because the other really interesting thing is this. Money, as it sits in our wallet, in our purse, in our bank accounts, or wherever we have it, is actually completely useless. It doesn't do anything for us. We can't eat it, right? We can't get nourishment from it. We can't do anything with it until we spend it. When we spend that money, it now takes on the value of something else, right? Like my phone, right? I spent money, I used money to buy this phone. So now that money has become the value of this phone. And whatever I value this phone at is really how valuable that money was at that time, or whatever, right? This water bottle that I have here, right? Or, this cup with all these pens and pencils, all this stuff. That's really the value of money. It's the thing that you buy with it, because the money itself is worthless. Think about it. If you die on your deathbed with a bag full of money in your arms, you ain't taking that to the grave with you. It's not doing anything for you other than being really heavy, right? The only purpose that money could potentially serve in its monetary form is maybe a paperweight. What we need to do is we need to exchange it. We need to transact it. The funniest thing is that money only becomes valuable when we get rid of it. Here's the funny part. A lot of people out there subscribe to the the message of save for a rainy day, save for an emergency, put all your money away, put it underneath the bed and forget about it. Don't touch it. Get rid of it. And the funniest thing is that if you look at any rich person, just visualize a rich person in your head, whoever they are, a millionaire, a billionaire, an investor, a philanthropist, whatever they look like to you. I'm willing to bet that that vision in your head has somebody who owns a really, really fancy car, or maybe multiple cars, Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, those kinds of cars, these luxurious, high price tag cars. I'm willing to bet that maybe you envision somebody in your head who has a huge, luscious, luxurious mansion that they live in. This is their own home that they own, that they live in. And it's got 25 bedrooms and marble floors and grand staircases and fish tanks that run from floor to ceiling and whatever other lavish accoutrements you can think of. I'm sure you thought of somebody who travels a lot, right? They're sitting on a beach in Bora Bora or in Fiji, drinking a case of beer or whatever your drink of choice might be. These are probably the visions that we had in our head when I asked that question. And if you had that one of those visions in your head, let me know in the comments. Just comment below, yes, fancy cars, big house, whatever it was that you thought of. Let me know if I'm on the right track here. And let me know if I'm not on the right track here either, because I want to kind of open this up for discussion as well. Well, here's the thing. What you envisioned in your head was money spent. See, rich people, especially our perception of rich people, is people who know how to strategically spend their money. That's why they have a Ferrari. That's why they have a Lamborghini. Rich people don't have a garage full of money. You don't see Ty Lopez coming on YouTube, opening up his garage and saying, here in my garage, check out my pile of money. No, he says, here in my garage, check out my Lamborghini, because he spent his money. He transacted his money. He gave his money in exchange for this good or service or product in this case. So the key is that money really in and of itself has no value at all. It's completely and utterly worthless, especially the money that you have. The money that you get rid of, that you transact for something, now has a value attached to it. So money really, in my opinion, is completely and utterly worthless. But the thing that gives it I guess in a sense we could almost say a value, is our ability to exchange it, to transact it. But another point that I want to bring up on that note is looking at currencies beyond just money. So I'm going to give you all of you a peek into my book. One of the chapters that I wrote in my upcoming book is a chapter entitled The Four Currencies. And the Four Currencies is a money mindset chapter. It's all about understanding that there are more currencies on this planet than just money, more mediums of exchange, more things that we can transfer and transact with than just money. And one of them is our time. As an employee, we're transacting our time. We've made a bet with somebody, we've done a deal with our employer where our employer said, I'll give you money if you give me time. So we're transacting those two different currencies. Another one is knowledge. Life coaches, business coaches, consultants, these types of people, even speakers, motivational speakers, keynote speakers, those types of people are transferring their knowledge in exchange for money. They're giving their knowledge. Teachers in school are transacting their knowledge in exchange for money. And then the last one is relationships, building connections, communities, and bringing different people together in exchange for monetary gain. See, so there's this big cyclical pattern in this world. And one of the easiest ways to explain it is I like to go back to caveman times, Neanderthal times, before there was this economic infrastructure over top of all of us that we're living through. I like to go back to the caveman times and think about how cavemen transacted, how they had their own quote unquote economy, their own system of barter, their own system of exchange back then, right? And just a real quick story, here's something simple. You have an old caveman and a young caveman. The old caveman can't really hunt very well, where the young caveman can hunt very well. But the old caveman has become very skilled in making pointy sticks, making these pointy sticks to go out and hunt with, because he's been doing it for years. But now he's not young and nimble enough to hunt, so he exchanges his pointy stick, his really good pointy stick, to this young hunter and says, I'll give it to you if you give me a portion of the meat of the food that you bring back to the cave. That was an economy. 100 million years ago, however long ago, that was an economy. That was a system of exchange. Before we found this fungible means of exchanging through dollars and cents like we did today, that was how we did it back then. And in reality, nothing has changed. So I guess all in all, if I were to answer the question, what is money? Or is money really just a mindset? Let's put the question up here. Is money just a mindset? Is money just a mindset? There it is. Is money just a mindset? My answer to that question is, I think so. I think it is. I believe money is just a mindset, because money really takes the form of whatever we want it to be. Money is like water. You put water in a bowl, it becomes the bowl. You put water in a bucket, it becomes the bucket. You put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. Money does the same thing. You transact your money for a water bottle, that money became this water bottle. Whatever value this water bottle has attached to it is however much it was worth for you, right? You exchange your money for a phone, this phone becomes the money. Money becomes the phone at that point. So really, I think that the lesson to take from this is that we really live in a world of value. And that value oftentimes comes from the outcome as opposed to the method. And whatever we perceive to be valuable to us is what we'll exchange our money for. It's what we will give our money for in exchange. And so it really comes down to, what do we think is valuable? Our understanding of values, I believe, determines our level of wealth in this world. Why are rich people able to live a different life than middle class people? Because I believe they have a different understanding of values. I recently put a post up, and this has been something that I've been having conversations with individuals about for a while, which is that purchasing education for yourself in a field that has value to you, that is purposeful to you, and that is interesting to you, is an asset, not a liability. And when I say an asset, what I mean is it has a return on investment. I mean, if you spend $1,000 on yourself, on this thing, this education, this field, you're going to end up making more money than that $1,000 that you put into it if you take action on it, if you apply it. I believe that educational resources, masterminds, seminars, webinars, events, coaches, consultants, mentors, these kinds of things, spending money on them, real money, by the way, $10, $15, $20, $25,000 for these people to coach and consult with you, can be an asset if it's valuable enough to you and you put the work in. You do what needs to be done. This can become an asset at that point. Now, other people have argued with me and said that there's no value in that. Why would I spend $15,000 on a coach when I can go onto YouTube and learn this myself? And this is, we're going to go down a big rabbit hole here if I get into this. It's a whole different discussion. But the point is, that person and me have different values. And I believe that if you can align your values with the wealthiest people, or not even really certainly with the wealthiest people, but with the types of people that you want to be like, you want to emanate. If you want to be rich and wealthy, a multimillionaire, an investor, an entrepreneur, whatever it is, you want to align your values with a person's values who already has achieved those things that you want to achieve. So whatever it might be, look at the value, not at the money. When we start to look at the value, we start to see money in a different light. And now money becomes a tool for us that we can use, that we now understand how to use it and how to work it and how to utilize it to our benefit. That's the key. That's the real key. The key here is understanding value versus cost. See, for me, educations, they have no cost. They have a value to me. There's a value to these educations. And if I believe that I am a good bet, if I believe that I am worth more than the value I'm going to receive from these educations, I'm in all day. It doesn't matter if they're $5,000 or $500,000. I'm in all day long because I recognize value and I understand value. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you learned something about money. This was kind of almost a history of money kind of course that we went through here. Just broke it all down, talked about money, talked about the gold standard in 1971. And I hope that you learned something from this. Before I go, I want to mention one thing. I'm going to start doing weekly web shows. I want to create something called the Make Money and Have Fun Show. The Make Money and Have Fun Show, what it is it's a web show. It's basically like a podcast. If you've ever seen a podcast before, this is the same exact thing, but it's on video. I'm going to be bringing on superstars, millionaires, investors, entrepreneurs, authors, speakers, coaches, consultants onto my show and interviewing them for about half an hour, just like I did today. But instead of being by myself, I'm going to be with somebody. The really cool thing is I can give all of you backstage access to bring you on, ask your questions. So text me down below. Let me know, hey, I want to be a part of the Make Money Have Fun show. I want to be involved in this. And I'll see in what capacity we can all contribute together and learn from each other, because I'm a firm believer in the mastermind, where the collective minds together can accomplish way more than any one mind ever could by itself. And that's really what I want to create here. I want to reach out to a couple of my friends and bring them on to be interviewed, people who have had success in their own lives, success in their own careers, building businesses, creating multi-million-dollar deals and transactions and things like that. And I just want to bring them on, let them come be a part of this, let them see what we're doing, and just keep on making money and having fun. Because like I always say, if you can bridge the gap between your passion and your prosperity, then at that point we have achieved success. On that note, signing off for today. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Have a good one.